The Los Angeles Clippers select Lorenzen Wright from the University of Memphis.
There was a lot of hype surrounding him. He took no prisoners on the court.
Lorenzen made $55 million throughout his NBA career. But now, Lorenzen was broke.
Georgetown 911, where's your emergency? Hello?
The plan was to get in through the window and kill him there.
We have our suspicion about the person with whom Lorenzen was involved.
This is a first-degree murder case.
Trying to find a needle in a haystack, literally. A proverbial needle in a haystack.
Lorenzen did not deserve to die like that.
He was trying to tell the cops, hey, I know where the gun is. I know who killed Lorenzen.
This is a story about a man who flew high and burned bright, but no amount of money or fame could protect him from murder.
Well, you have to understand basketball in Memphis, Tennessee. This is a basketball mecca. We produce some of the finest basketball talent in the country.
Doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, red, yellow. The love of basketball is the love of basketball. And Lorenzen was that fire, that passion on the court. Memphis grabbed a hold of him, and Lorenzen became, the city son.
At 34, Lorenzen Wright is a legend in Memphis. But his story really began decades earlier.
I'm Deborah Marion, Lorenzen Wright's mother. Lorenzen was born November the 4th, 1975 in Oxford, Mississippi. He was my one and only. His dad, Herbert, was a basketball player, and he wanted his son to be a basketball player. So when he came home from the hospital, his dad had him tucked under his arm, rubbing his baby hand over a basketball.
Lorenzen's parents split up when he was just a kid. And when he was in high school, he moved to Memphis to live with his dad.
I'm Pastor Bill Atkins, pastor of Greater Imani Church in Memphis, Tennessee. In Oxford, Mississippi. It was only an hour and a half or so away from Memphis, but when Lorenzen came to Memphis, everything shifted for him.
I'm Phil Dotson. I am Lorenzen Wright's best friend. There was a lot of hype surrounding him. I mean, if you're a 6'11" young man in high school, the word travels very fast. He took no prisoners on the court.
Lorenzen was really tall. He was 6'11". He got a lot of attention both on and off the court. But one person who caught his attention was his coach's daughter, Shara.
My name is Kelvin Cowens. I've reported it on Lorenzen Wright as Shara and Lorenzen met when her father had to go and pick her up from college. And so he grabbed a few of his players on his basketball team, and they went and moved Shara. So Lorenzen and Shara flirted the entire time that they were moving her furniture and everything.
She was flamboyant, sexy, provocative. That's a bit much for a North Mississippi country boy.
He was in love with her from the time he met her.
Lorenzen had an amazing high school basketball career, and colleges all over the country were courting him. But there was really only one school he wanted to go to.
Even though all the other big schools were calling on him, he always knew he was going to play for the University of Memphis.
By staying at home, Lorenzen became the city son. He wasn't just Herb and Miss Deborah's son, he was everybody's son.
In college, Lorenzen was focused on two things.
When you're in college, basketball is your life. You eat, sleep, breathe that round ball. When he wasn't playing basketball or he wasn't with us, he was with Shara.
Shara came home with him during Thanksgiving. She said, I got a big surprise. She said, you're gonna have a grandson. Lorenzen, he was ecstatic. He was ecstatic.
In 1996, as Lorenzen and Shara begin to grow their family, an even bigger change is on the horizon. the NBA.
The Los Angeles Clippers select Lorenzen Wright from the University of Memphis.
When they called his name, we all yelled and screamed and shouted, and it was just like we got drafted.
Lorenzen is an NBA star at the age of 20, and that comes with a big paycheck, a paycheck that fosters expensive tastes in the coming years.
Life as a 20-year-old with endless amounts of money, it was an endless party.
Ren probably had 30, 40 cars. If he saw one he wanted, he'd get it.
The wives had a competition as well, who had the biggest rock on their hand.
300, 350 purses, Rolexes, 5 or 6 of them, mink coats, 4 or 5 of them.
By 2001, Lorenzen was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies.
It was a dream come true.
Ticket sales go sky high because Lorenzen's home.
Memphis had gotten its son back.
Lorenzen was a good humanitarian. He walked around Memphis giving money away. He was constantly buying clothes for kids, helping parents pay their light bill. His heart was bigger than his height. Lorenzen would literally give the shirt off his back. I know people say that a lot, but he would.
When Lorenzen and Shara moved back to Memphis, they decide to make things official and get married, and they continue to grow their family.
But after many years, life in the NBA began to take its toll on Lorenzen's home life.
You're going to games, and you're going from city to city, and then having to balance being a father and having to balance being a husband.
Lorenzen talked to me about problems of infidelity, on both sides, to be honest.
By the early 2000s, Lorenzen's career was slowing. He wasn't the basketball player he once was, but he was desperate to keep that career going. So he wound up leaving Memphis and taking jobs in other cities. He played on teams in Cleveland, Sacramento, and Atlanta. And that too was hard on the marriage.
I'm Junie Ganguly. I'm a lawyer. Shara and Lorenzen's divorce was finalized in February of 2010.
I hate to see any marriage fall apart, but that one was almost irreparable. I mean, there's no way that they could repair that one.
Lorenzen lived in Atlanta, but he came to Memphis frequently to see his children.
Lorenzen was the best father in the world. His children were everything to him.
Ooh, those kids loved their dad too.
He had 6 kids. He always wanted a big family.
On July 18th, 2010, it's a hot summer evening in Memphis. Lorenzen is just in town from Atlanta, catching up with friends and family.
That day, we had to go and pick up Lorenzen Jr. from the gym. We called him Snoop.
Lorenzen's son is actually a lot like his father. He's a whiz on the basketball court.
It's a few months after Lorenzen's divorce is finalized, and he is spending his time with his son when he gets a phone call.
Lorenzen got a phone call. He said, well, I have to take Snoop home. I'll hit you up tomorrow and we'll hang out tomorrow. And then the next day, I shot him a text and asked him, was everything cool? And I didn't hear anything back.
But strangely, Phil is not the only one having trouble finding Lorenzen that next day.
I called Lorenzen. I had not heard from him. I ain't heard nothing Monday, nothing Tuesday. I never missed a return call from Lorenzen. Never, never, never. He always returned my call.
I remember getting a phone call from Shara on Thursday. And she said, Phil, have you talked to Lorenzen? And I'm like, no, I haven't talked to him since Sunday. I just figured Lorenzen was traveling and he was unavailable.
No one has seen him. This is when I called the police and reported my child missing.
The Collierville Police Department is in charge of Lorenzen's missing persons case.
Collierville is a Memphis suburb where Shara and her kids lived.
And the first thing police do is start talking to Lorenzen's family, including his ex-wife, Shara.
Shara said on July 18th, Lorenzen had come to her house.
My name is Laurie Hall, and I'm an attorney. Lorenzen had been spending time with the children, and then he got a phone call. Sheriff Wright, said Lorenzen went into the attic, came down with a box, and said he was leaving to go meet some people.
Police talk to all of Lorenzen's family and friends, but they really don't find out very much about the final hours before he went missing.
Everybody's like just losing their mind, like, what's going on?
8 days after Lorenzen went missing, police get some new information in a harrowing 911 call.
Georgetown 911, where's your emergency? Hello?
It's July 2010, and family man and NBA star Lorenzen Wright has gone missing. Then after 8 days, the police get some new information in a disturbing 911 call.
Georgetown 911, where's your emergency?
There was a 911 call made.
Hello?
At the other end of the call, there's someone kind of screaming, and then you hear a bunch of gunshots.
Hello? Hello?
And then the line goes dead.
Son, I have nothing but gunshots.
The 911 call, it was received by Germantown Police Department, and the operator did not send a car out.
Germantown and Collierville are two Memphis suburbs. Instead of that 911 call being reported so that they could immediately trace the call to the location, the dispatcher just lets it go. It was technically outside the bounds of Germantown, and so nobody followed up on it.
I'm Tony Armstrong. I'm the former Director of Police Services for the Memphis Police Department. The 911 dispatcher didn't follow the protocol. There should have been some cars sent to investigate that call.
8 days later, when a supervisor learns of the call, they start to put the pieces together.
Georgetown 911, where's your emergency?
They have a male caller and the sound of gunshots on the very same night that Lorenzen Wright went missing. The supervisor realizes this might be significant to the investigation.
Hello?
I don't think that the call was clear enough where you can say that that's Lorenzen Wright's voice, but if you put the pieces together, it could be Lorenzen.
Son, I have nothing but gunshots.
Realizing the massive oversight, they hand the recording over to the Collierville Police Department to investigate.
The cell phone signals lead the police to an area called Callus Cutoff.
Callus Cutoff is fairly secluded. It's a field. It's a place where high school students would drink, smoke marijuana, or do whatever.
Police bring in cadaver dogs to search the area, and they make a gruesome discovery.
Human remains had been found.
This discovery attracts the attention of the media, the public, and Lorenzen's family.
The news was live streaming the discovery. You could just see hundreds and hundreds of people gathered.
The police came and told me that they had found something.
The body is so badly decomposed that the Collierville police aren't yet sure who it is. But they do know that it's a homicide, so they call in the Memphis police to work the case.
It was hot, probably in excess of 90 degrees for consecutive days. The body was in advanced stages of decomposition, so it was a pretty horrific scene.
The police quickly realize that because the body's been out in the elements for days, there's very little evidence they're going to be able to use.
When you're dealing with a crime scene like that and you're dealing with a body of advanced stages of decomposition, we literally started with a cold case.
Authorities didn't find any guns. They found bullet casings.
One of them was a 9mm.
Different caliber casings found indicated that there were more than likely 2 pistols used and 2 shooters.
Police collect the bullet casings in evidence bags, and they take what's left of the body back to the morgue.
He had received multiple injuries, gunshot wounds to the head, as well as to his forearm and torso. The people responsible for this murder went above and beyond to make sure that they succeeded in killing him.
The medical examiner uses dental records to identify the victim, and the results confirm everyone's worst fears. It is Lorenzen Wright.
When they found Lorenzen's body, he weighed 57 pounds, which at that time was less than what his baby daughter weighed. And so we have a 6'11", 215-pound power forward that has been reduced to basically bones.
After the identification is made, authorities go to Lorenzen's family and friends to deliver the bad news.
I got a call from my friend with the Memphis Police Department. And he was like, "We found his body and it's not good." I said, "You mean he's dead?" He's like, "Yeah." I just started crying.
Lorenzen did not deserve to die like that. Just shot and left in the woods. No one taking a 911 call seriously. That was painful. Still is. Haven't gotten over that yet. I'm still not over that.
I found out he was dead. I just was crushed. I wish I could have hugged his body for the last time.
We have gathered here today to pay our respects and to show our love for Ren.
Everybody in Memphis showed up for his funeral.
It was beautiful. We had it in the place where he played, the FedEx Forum. All of his friends, fraternity brothers, family. Shara was there, dressed in black. Mourning.
It was hundreds and hundreds of people.
In Memphis, you know, you got Elvis, you got Penny Hardaway, you got Lorenzen Wright.
I eulogized him.
Ren was taken from us too soon and too horrifically. Lorenzen will always be remembered for his talent on the basketball court, but also for his love of people off the court.
Law enforcement in Memphis forms a multi-agency task force consisting of the Memphis PD's Gang and Drug Unit, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI.
I made a promise not only to the people of Memphis, but to Lorenzen's mother. We were going to turn over every leaf, look under every rock. It was a priority for the entire department.
On August 1st, 2010, authorities searched the last place that Lorenzen was seen alive, Shara's house. They're looking for any kind of clue as to where Lorenzen may have gone. Police sit down with Shara and interview her about Lorenzen's final hours.
Shara said that on the night that Lorenzen went missing, that he left one time and he came back a short time later.
And then Lorenzen got a phone call. And after getting that phone call, indicated that he was going to go flip something for $110,000.
She said he did have a box of drugs in one hand and a stack of money in another.
She believes that he had gotten involved with some individuals and was selling drugs.
Is it possible that the proverbial son of Memphis kept some questionable company that got him killed?
One of the things that we've discovered is that there was a federal investigation into Lorenzen's activities, and we have our suspicions about the people with whom Lorenzen was involved.
There had been a series of events to suggest that people were after him.
In the summer of 2010, the task force is investigating the murder of NBA star Lorenzen Wright. Police learn that the FBI is investigating a drug smuggling ring with international ties that's been operating in the Memphis area.
Lorenzen's name has come up as having ties with one of the drug smugglers. These drug smugglers are well known to the Memphis PD, including a man named Craig Pettis.
Craig Pettis is the largest high-level drug dealer in the history of our city, as well as a very ruthless individual. He had tons of cocaine being transported into and out of our city.
One of the men that Pettis has working for him in the area is the local drag racer named Bobby Cole.
Bobby Cole was one of the underbosses of Craig Pettis.
Bobby Cole is kind of well known for using his drag racing cars to smuggle drugs and money back and forth into the Memphis area.
He became involved with Lorenzen Wright a few years prior to his murder, when Lorenzen sold him some vehicles.
The government ended up seizing a lot of property. And when they did, they found these vehicles in Lorenzen's name.
It just seemed strange. And it didn't seem just strange to me. The United States Attorney's Office investigated Lorenzen. They suspected that Lorenzen would sell a car to Mr. Cole, receive payment for that car, but the title of the car remained in Lorenzen's name, and that would be money laundering.
Police start to wonder if this might have been a way for Lorenzen to make a quick buck.
And if it were true, Pettis and Cole would probably want Lorenzen out of the picture so he couldn't testify against them.
A review of Lorenzen and Shara's finances gives police an indication of why Lorenzen might have gotten involved in a criminal enterprise.
Lorenzen and Shara were not in good shape financially. They had credit card debts. He had 3 or 4 houses. Some of them were in the process of foreclosure.
They had been in bad financial shape for some time.
The debt was daunting.
Shara and Lorenzen had recently divorced.
Under the terms of the divorce agreement, Lorenzen was to maintain a life insurance policy in the amount of $1 million.
The divorce settlement only increased the financial strain on Lorenzen.
He owed $26,000 a month. $16,000 of that was for the children, and $10,000 was for alimony.
That was for 10 years. And that is a non-dischargeable form of alimony. No matter what his income was, if his income went down to 0, he would still owe it.
Lorenzen made roughly $55 million throughout his 13-year NBA career. But now, Lorenzen was broke.
As a basketball player whose career was winding down, Lorenzen wasn't in a position to bring in the amount of money that he had been.
This financial picture tells the police a lot about Lorenzen's state of mind.
He had a lot of debt and financial obligations to his family that was forcing him underwater.
But Lorenzen was millionaire broke and not regular people broke. When you're millionaire broke, you have things that you already own that you can sell and get liquid cash for.
Lorenzen might have tried to make some quick cash selling some of his cars to Bobby Cole. But any questions about whether Cole or Pettis were responsible for Lorenzen's murder are quickly put to rest.
They were in custody. There is no way that Craig Pettis or Bobby Cole were directly responsible for Lorenzen's death.
The organized crime connection and the FBI investigation lead police to a dead end.
As rumors of Lorenzen's connections to organized crime spread through the city, those closest to him don't believe a word of it.
Hearing about the whole walking out with a box of drugs and being involved with Bobby Cole, no way. Never in my life have I ever seen Lorenzen engage in anything negative or anything that would jeopardize his name, his family, anything at all.
People that knew him knew this. That was crazy from the word go. No, this is not his character, period.
The investigation drags on without any real leads. And then in 2012, Lorenzen's ex-wife, Shara, decides to write a book.
Shara wrote a book called Mr. Tell Me Anything.
The novel is about a woman named Sharon Robertson, who's married to a philandering NBA star named Mr. Tell Me Anything. But the public has a good idea about what the book is really about.
I think the book is about Shara and Lorenzen's relationship. There were portions in her book where she would talk about Lorenzen's, affairs, even the abuses that she says she went through.
I think that the whole point was to demonize it in every way possible. Make her look good, make him look bad.
The book is very poorly received, not only with Lorenzen's family, but with the general public. And it also adds fuel to the ongoing fire.
It was obvious that there was a lot of distrust and animosity between Shara and Lorenzen's family.
Shara just did not fit the mold of someone we thought Lorenzen would be with. She worked hard to be seen.
She's a manipulative type of individual. She used people to get what she wanted, which was money.
In 2012, police start to pay attention to an ongoing fight between Shara and Lorenzen's family. They're fighting over money.
And the divorce decree that Lorenzen and Shara had was the $1 million life insurance policy. And so roughly about a year after Lorenzen's death, she did receive it.
That's a considerable sum of money, but it's to be split up for the care of their children.
Most of the money that Shara spent from the $1 million policy were spent on the kids. There was a home, furniture, clothing, and then there were other things. I don't know if they really had anything to do with kids. $25,000, $50,000 cash withdrawals.
She had gone through $1 million in less than a year.
The money was gone, and mother had blew the money.
The family is now ferociously contending in court how Shara has spent the insurance money, as well as who gets to control Lorenzen's NBA retirement account.
As police are watching the court battle between Shara and Lorenzen's family, the murder investigation takes an unexpected turn. A jailhouse informant contacts authorities.
He was, trying to tell the cops, hey, I know where the gun is. I know who killed Lorenzen.
After 2 years of investigation, police have little more than theories and conjecture about who might have killed Lorenzen Wright. Until now.
In the summer of 2012, Shelby County prosecutors get a message from a man by the name of Jimmy Martin.
Jimmy Martin was convicted of second-degree murder in May of 2012.
Jimmy Martin said that he has first-hand information about Lorenzen's murder, and he has first-hand information about the weapon used to kill Lorenzen.
Mr. Martin said, if you go easy on me, I'll tell you what I know.
But there's one thing that's particularly intriguing about Jimmy Martin.
Jimmy Martin is Shara Wright's cousin.
Jimmy Martin sits down with police to tell his story. And what he tells is a tale of collusion and conspiracy.
He told police that in 2010, Shara Wright had come to him and had asked him to participate in Lorenzen Wright's murder. Shara wanted Lorenzen dead so that she could get this $1 million life insurance policy.
Jimmy details the plan that had been set in motion with a third conspirator named Billy Ray Turner.
Mr. Martin told law enforcement that he and Billy Turner had gone to Atlanta in the summer of 2010 to try to kill Lorenzen. Shara had visited Lorenzen in Atlanta. She had left a window open in Lorenzen's home.
The plan was initially that they were going to get in through the window that Shara left unlocked and kill him there. They did go into his apartment and saw someone asleep there that wasn't Lorenzen and decided to leave.
After the unsuccessful murder attempt in Atlanta, Jimmy goes back to Mississippi and Billy Ray goes back to Memphis.
It wasn't until sometime later that Jimmy heard about Lorenzen's murder in Memphis on the news.
Jimmy goes on to tell police that a few days after the murder, Shara had come knocking on his door again.
He gives the investigators a story that basically said a few days after the murder, Shara comes over my house. She borrows a metal detector from my mom because she's dropped something at the crime scene and she needs a metal detector to go back and try to find it.
Jimmy tells police that during their search, they found a gun. And then they drove out to Walnut, Mississippi, and threw the gun in a lake there.
But Jimmy Martin's statement conveniently leaves him out of the actual murder.
Jimmy's story is very compelling to investigators, but now they need to find out who Billy Turner is.
Detectives questioned Shara and Billy Ray Turner about Jimmy Martin's story.
Billy Ray Turner was somebody that Shara Wright had known for several years. They both went to church together, and he was someone who would come to her house and do yard work.
I hear that they had something going at the time to where they were officially dating.
It's unclear what the relationship is between Shara and Billy Ray. But one thing that is clear is that Billy Ray Turner is a felon, with convictions for assault, kidnapping, and drug sales.
Shara should be nervous about being a suspect because this is a first-degree murder case. You know, it could land her in prison for life or worse, the death sentence.
Both Shara and Billy Turner have the same story, which is we weren't involved in this. Yes, we were in communication with each other, but there wasn't anything out of the ordinary about that.
Shara and Billy completely deny the accusations, but police think that maybe they can authenticate Jimmy's story if they can find that gun.
Jimmy Martin directs the police to a lake in Mississippi. They dragged this lake looking for a murder weapon. And you're talking about a gun that's been in a lake for multiple years. Trying to find a needle in a haystack. Literally, a proverbial needle in a haystack. They didn't find anything.
Without finding the gun, Jimmy Martin's story can't be corroborated.
Not only do Jimmy Martin's allegations appear unfounded, but police also learned that his relationship with Lorenzen had been strained due to his own murder charges.
Jimmy had visited Shara and Lorenzen's home one day. At the time, Jimmy was out on bond for murdering his girlfriend. His defense against the murder charge was that it was an accident. He didn't kill her on purpose. But the story that Shara told me was that Jimmy Martin was out on the porch with Lorenzen, and he told Lorenzen his girlfriend didn't die by accident. He actually killed her.
And we suspect that Mr. Martin was worried that Lorenzen would tell law enforcement that Mr. Martin had confessed to him, that he actually killed this woman.
With a weak case and their only real witness being a convicted murderer, police back away from Shara as a suspect.
As time goes by, Lorenzen's case gets colder and colder.
The only thing people kept saying was that it's cold. It's a cold case. But his mom, being the champion and mama bear that she was, she never let it go to bed.
Please tell the police, tell somebody. Hello, y'all never found my son's killer, so I gotta keep doing something.
I had a kind of like visual for him every year, and I had a birthday party for him every year. I was just keeping his name out there.
You know, she kept stoking the coals to keep it alive.
I go to the police department probably every day. They know my voice on the phone. Wasn't nobody gonna be in them police face like me. That was my child.
As Lorenzen's mother keeps a torch blazing, life moves on for Shara.
In 2015, Shara and her children move out of Memphis and out of the shadow of Lorenzen's death.
This is breaking news.
But in 2017, investigators in Lorenzen's murder are about to find a big missing piece to the puzzle.
It is a major break in a high-profile Memphis cold case. The gun used to kill the late Lorenzen Wright has been found.
I can remember when they found the gun.
Law enforcement sources are telling me that the FBI, they assisted the MPD.
And I was just like, whoever it is, they got him.
By 2017, Lorenzen Wright's murder case has gone cold. The multi-agency task force consisting of the Memphis PD's Drug and Gang Unit, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI attempt to breathe new life into Lorenzen's case.
The police department named their investigation Operation Rebound.
The idea is that they will re-examine each part of the case and try to catch something that they might have missed the first time around, or discover something new via a new witness.
In late 2017, the task force interviews those close to Lorenzen and Shara.
One of Shara's relatives, named Claudia Robinson, tells the police about a meeting she witnessed days before the murder.
Claudia Robinson had been the babysitter for the children for quite a while. She told police that she was in Shara's home around the time that Lorenzen disappeared.
Her statement is that in June or July of 2010, she saw Billy Turner, Jimmy Martin, and Shara at Shara's Collierville home discussing a plot to kill Lorenzen.
7 years after Lorenzen's murder, a number of incriminating statements are coming to light.
You have to realize Shara Wright, as far as her intermediate family, she's a breadwinner. She was an NBA wife. She's the person who you go to say, hey, I need some money for this. And so I believe that there was a lot of people around Shara and her family where they had blind loyalty, but no longer. The consensus about Shara Wright is that she was broke.
These statements suddenly corroborate a lot of Jimmy Martin's confession from years earlier. And this leads police to reconsider his story about the $1 million insurance policy and dropping a gun in a lake in Walnut, Mississippi. Investigators decide to drag the lake again.
In June of 2017, they utilize a dive team from the FBI. They go back to this lake, and incredibly, they do find that gun.
Finding the gun corroborated Jimmy Martin's story that Shara and Billy Turner had killed Lorenzen.
While the discovery of the gun appears to be a massive break in the case, police need forensic evidence that proves it's one of the guns that killed Lorenzen.
Law enforcement sent the gun to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations.
Well, the gun was inoperable when it was found. They had to take the gun apart and put it on part of another gun to even get it to fire.
Despite the gun being in the lake for 7 years, the ballistics testing yields results.
Turns out to be the same gun that was used in Lorenzen Wright's murder.
The discovery of the gun and the ensuing ballistic tests gives police cause to begin surveillance of Shara.
There was a phone call made by Shara where she says somebody must have told somebody something that led them to the gun. I think that that's Shara Wright saying, I wonder who's talking to the police and what they're saying.
After they monitor Sharon's calls, she shows up in Memphis. And she meets with Billy Ray.
Shara went to a church dinner where she saw Billy Turner. She was under surveillance at the time by the police.
The police cannot hear what Shara and Billy Ray Turner discussed, but it's enough probable cause to make a move.
December 5th, 2017, Billy Ray Turner is arrested.
Mr. Turner was charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and first-degree murder of Lorenzen Wright.
A week and a half after Billy Ray was arrested, Shara was arrested in California and extradited back to Memphis.
Thank you, Jesus. I couldn't say nothing but thank you, Jesus.
On March 19th, 2018, prosecutors announced that both defendants will be tried together on the charge of murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
But on July 25th, 2019, Shara Wright surprised everyone.
This was certainly a surprise appearance today by Shara Wright. This was not on the docket today. We got wind about this about 10 o'clock this morning. Shara Wright has a guilty plea.
Ms. Wright, it is the judgment of this court that you are guilty.
She pleaded guilty to facilitation of first-degree murder and attempted facilitation of first-degree murder.
Shara Wright did not give a statement to police, so nobody knows exactly what happened that evening.
My theory of how Lorenzen Wright was murdered is that he was lured to callous cut off by Shara.
It was Shara on the phone that day Knowing what I know now, she had her plan started.
But during the killing, Lorenzen was able to break free for a moment and make that 911 call.
Hello? Hello?
I can remember just hearing the tape and just hearing the fear in his voice, the shock in his voice.
And then I believe that Shara and whoever shot him hightailed it out of there.
And Shara concocted a story to set Lorenzen up to make him look like, a drug dealer.
If Shara had gone to trial, she was looking at possibly a life sentence. But with the plea deal, she gets a 30-year sentence and she's eligible for parole in just 7 years. A lot of the family and friends just didn't think that Lorenzen got justice, that it was like just a slap on the wrist.
How could you do that to a human being, let alone the father of your children?
I want no possibility of parole. That's all. That's all. I just want her to be gone.
In the wake of Shara's guilty plea, Lorenzen's family and friends are trying to come to terms with his murder.
It's going to be devastating to their kids. They've lost their father. Now they're going to lose their mom. And they have to go through the rest of their lives knowing that their mom conspired to have their father killed.
I would hope that we'll reinstate Lorenzen as a good human being, that he wasn't a drug dealer. He was a good humanitarian. That's the way I would love people to remember Ren.
He was an angel. I just feel like God just wanted to bring an angel home to be with him.
His smile, he had a smile that would light up a whole room. The smile ain't gone.